It's the time for the PlayStation Portable 2 battle, because this is the 2021 model and we're going to compare this with the bad boy. Oh yeah, the 8-inch edition XXL from our friends from China, so let's go! Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in, because in this video we are going to do a comparison with the PlayStation 2 portables, the XL version, against the 2021. Which one will be my favorite one? That's what we're going to find out today. Yeah, so consider subscribing, hit the bell, and don't forget to check the both reviews. But let's go on with the show, and let's do a comparison. What are the differences between these bad boys? Because the price is almost the same. But take in consideration, these handhelds are custom made. This is not like a factory that's producing a shitload of these things. Nope, they are like DIY kits people buy, slap a PlayStation 2 in, paint them and slap them on the market. And yep, you need to pay a lot of money for them. But the weird thing is, like, if you're looking at both prices, the price is almost the same. That's kind of interesting. But what are the differences when it comes to the specifications and the thing you can do with it? That is what we're going to check out. So first, let's talk about the display, because here we're going to get the first difference. Okay, so for checking out the displays, let's power on the bad boys. I've charged them, there are enough juice in it, so we can check it out. Let's boot it up. And let's see how is the quality difference between the two systems. Because that is something that I noticed instantly when making these videos, the full reviews, that there are quite some differences between this. Let's talk about this one, the PlayStation 2 7-inch edition. I don't know what this is with these LCD displays, but also with the other one, like the old one I've reviewed, you can see that it's a 7-inch. It's not an IPS, or it's coming close to an IPS. I don't know what kind of display they're using, because when you're holding it like this, it looks like shit. But on the other hand, like with the PlayStation 8-inch, the viewing angle are way better. I hope you can see it on the camera. It's always very hard to record, but the viewing angles are way better. And of course, this thing is gigantic when it comes to this display itself. But the biggest difference is something else. The biggest difference is basically that we're going to get is the aspect ratio. This is a 7-inch widescreen display. And this is more getting into the original aspect ratio options. And the fun fact is, when you're looking back to this one, you can see we're having the menu button like this. But when you're pressing them and you're going all the way back, you can't change the resolution out. And with this version, we have the option to put it in the original resolution. But take consideration, when you're doing this, you have the option to do this, but you're going to have like black bars at the side. And that's something you need to consideration if you like it, because in the end, it squeezes back to the original aspect ratio, but you don't have a very big screen left. That looks very tiny compared with the other one. But you got the options to play widescreen and of course the 4:3 aspect ratio. Okay, so in the main review I was not really pleased with this handheld, and the main reason was the button. The buttons, oh boy, they are playing like really awful and they are not very responsive, and I will show you now what I mean with this. First thing is just the build quality of this version is way better. And the reason I'm saying it's way better, it's more like using different methods of putting the two shelves together. Another thing I want to point out is like the paint job. So far I can see like there is no perfect PlayStation 2 portable, and when you're looking closely you can see many flaws, and the paint job are just really bad or okay. I find it also quite disappointing to see that you're paying a lot of money for a device like this, and you don't just take the time just to basically sand this freaking thing, put a good primer over it, and just paint it in the certain color that you want, and give this thing just a freaking good, an amazing paint job, because you're paying a lot of money for a device like this. So coming back to the story why I think this is a way better clamshell design, simply because there are two screws are basically putting the two shells together, and it is a way better construction, and this will show you later on why this is compared with a bigger one. But then overall, let's talk about the weight and what are the differences with that. And maybe to you it looks really like a cable nightmare, or it looks not that fancy, but I can tell you when you're looking at like my 2020 versus my 2021 model, oh boy, that other one was really bad, like hot glue madness. And they have like new 3D printed stuff, and they have a lot of changes like different PCBs inside now, so it looks way better, and the soldering from this guy is not that bad. To be honest, I can do a better job. But in the end, it's more like quite interesting some concept with a, let's say with a special ribbon cable that goes to the top. There were like things you didn't have with the previous models, so it looks kind of nice. The main problem I had was like when this thing freaking came in, my mainboard was always rambling inside because they only used freaking 2 screws and without any hot glue whatsoever, and the PCB of my monitor was just loose. Not like Cable Nightmare, but it was more like the assembly was pretty damn poor, and especially when you're paying a lot of money for this freaking thing. Look at this. Oh man. I did fix it by the way, and also the mainboard. I glued it back in. It's like a minor fix and it was super easy to do. I basically made it better, but still it's more like quality control, there is none. Okay, first let's talk about the weight of this bad boy. So the weight is in total 738 grams. So let's take a close look at the other one. Okay, so let's take a close look at the 8-inch edition. And this bad boy is really a big bad boy because it weighs 828 grams. Holy crap. Whew. Stop going to the gym and just play with a PlayStation 2 Portable. Beefcake time. Okay, so let's talk about this version and how is the quality, etc. There is one thing I just want to point out, and that's quite interesting. This doesn't apply with the PlayStation 2 Portable. I've shown you like the 7-inch models, both of them. This one has an AV output. It's quite interesting, so basically you can use this thing like in game system. That's quite interesting in my opinion. But the paint job itself, I'm just going to show it like this with the lighting. You can see it is quite awful. A little bit of a bummer. I was hoping you're going to get a very nice paint job. Because, come on man, you're paying a lot of money for it. I just keep saying it, repeating myself, sorry guys. Because it is just what it is. So, here you can see we don't have the 2 screws at the back. So basically what they did, like giving all of these tiny screws in place, like I think they're just drilling through the shell, putting an extra Parker in it to give it a more sturdy feeling. So when you take a close look in the inside of the 8-inch model, what I find very interesting is that we have a lot of free space. And I would not be surprised that we're going to see this model or this shell with some new specifications. Maybe they're slapping a PlayStation 3 in it, or maybe something different in the future, or Wii, whatever. There is so much space in this thing that we can do a lot of great things with it. But yeah, the quality control was again an issue. Like the memory card is just loose. Look at this. There is no screw whatsoever. It's just flapping around in it. The mainboard is held by the 2 same screws. The one they didn't use in my previous model, like the 21 7-inch. But it's just a freaking nightmare. The soldering itself is quite good. It's just a freaking cable nightmare. They did use this special bracket on the top for putting everything very nicely. But overall it's more like they need to more like pay attention to the wires. Look at this. Oh boy. Okay, so let's talk about the gameplay itself. So first of all, what I noticed with this thing, like the 8-inch model, I love the display. So the view angle is way better. And the buttons are just responsive. It's more like a freaking miracle. But there was one thing that was quite concerning, and it's the size of the handheld. I got like normal size hands, but if you like have tiny hands, this thing is just freaking unplayable. And that's the thing and the problem with the 8-inch in general. It doesn't even matter in the future if you're going to slap like a PlayStation 4 in it. In my opinion, is that the shoulder buttons play all fine, but I have struggled big time, like holding the thumb drives, trying to move around, try to shoot, and the overall experience was not that great when you're looking at the gameplay and overall. The gameplay itself was not that bad in my opinion, but you can see like I have a lot of struggling, moving the character in the game. I'm just going Rambo style here. Okay, so let's talk about the 7-inch, because the 7-inch, I really love the shell. So for me, more like the 8-inch has a beautiful display, and they have good working buttons, but this device, the design of the shell is way more comfortable, and even I think with some smaller hands it will still be playable, and that is just a big issue with the 8-inch model. So that's what I already pointed out in the beginning, more like the 8-inch is too big. It's more like you don't need to make this thing freaking big, otherwise it will be unplayable. It's a shame about the buttons, but if the buttons work perfectly, I think I would have not like the perfect experience with this, playing the PlayStation 2 games on my PlayStation 2 Portable. And now it's more like I'm struggling, reloading, struggling picking stuff up. It's freaking annoying. Okay guys, so this is what we're going to get, and I just want to do a side-by-side comparison with the XL and the 7-inch edition, or the 7 and the 8-inch. Doesn't matter how you want to call them. Basically, they are the same creator, and I think it's like a fun idea to make a side-by-side comparison. If you even are slightly interested in getting one, what are the differences? So I don't know if every model has this issue with the buttons. I have 2 of them, and I'm just guessing it will be like a common thing with this. But surprisingly, with this bad boy, this 8-inch massive machine, the buttons were super responsive. But what I don't really like about it is that it's so huge, man. You can still play the game, but when you're holding it like this, you need to use the analog sticks, playing some black. It's just freaking, I wouldn't say mission impossible, because it is impossible to play, but I find the 7-inch model way more comfortable to play. And this one is even more heavier, so go to the gym, get some beefcake arms, because you're going to need it. So yeah, let me know in the comments which one do you like. Do you like the 7-inch or the 8-inch? I want to thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, hit the bell, become on the Wicked family, and if you have any questions, just leave it in the comments. And it would be great to have you here, and I will see you in the next video.